Hello and welcome to the Warrenist Live. We are back. We took a little break, but we are back and we're so excited. Um, so if this is your first time checking out the Warrenist Live, what we do is we celebrate the arts, culture, lifestyle, and people of Warren County, North Carolina, and beyond. And then we're also going to start touching on community topics. But if you've noticed, in Warren County, there seems to be some type of resurgence, this rebirth, this growth spurt with all these new businesses popping up, business expansions. And my guest today is definitely a part of it. So I would love to welcome Jada Mills to the Warrenist Live. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Miss Crystal. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for accepting. So before we start talking about your business,
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as everyone has heard, my name is Jada Mills. I'm from Warren County originally. I don't live there right now. Um, I have five siblings. Um, I'm the oldest girl, and I'm a youth entrepreneur.
Yeah, and so we can't wait to talk about it. So in case anyone is wondering, it's like, why are you interviewing and you're 14, right?
Yes.
Yeah, why are you interviewing a 14-year-old girl in the middle of the day, in the middle of a school day? In fact, Jada is actually homeschooled. So can you tell us about that experience, since you've done both traditional and homeschool, just to know
Yes.
what you think? Mhm.
Yeah. It's definitely more free. You can do extracurricular without the restrictions. We work out of textbooks and then also a few online programs. And then I think textbooks are really the best way to go because I realized that typing and writing on computers, you don't remember it as well. And textbooks, when you read, it just like sticks in your brain. If you write it down with your own handwriting on a sheet of paper just a couple of times, you'll remember it because you're like, all that writing is it. It hurts
Yeah.
sometimes to write so much, but homeschooling is also like you can add your hobbies into it. That can be a part of your curricular. Um, I do, I sew and then I sing. So those are two of my extracurriculars that I do for homeschooling. And we just add that to the end of the day from like 3 to 4. And really we can do it from 3 to whatever time. But that's just a part of homeschooling. It's also like you can learn with your siblings. You can teach your younger siblings what you've already learned. I actually had a little class with my sister on verbs. So that was pretty good. Still sometimes I'll just call her out of the blue and say, "Hey Destiny, what is this word? What does it mean? Give me an example?" And she's doing really good with it right now. So that's just, and it's also extra attention because you're not in a classroom with 30 kids. So you get that special attention, like what do you need help with, and it's also not a teacher that has to work. It's my mom, so she wants to teach us.
Right, right. And she's an excellent teacher. She tutored my son for a while and he
I
definitely
know.
did better in his grades. But you talked about, okay, when you're talking about homeschooling, like what's your favorite subject?
Well, my favorite is extracurricular, of course, but I don't know if you could call that a subject. So,
Uh-huh.
out of all the basic subjects like math, English, science, it's between math and science. English, I love reading books, but I hate English work because it's not the genre that I picked. It's a genre that, the North Carolina state picked. So it's something that I have to do. But if I had to choose between math and science, it would probably be science. I know that in fifth grade, I took the science EOGs and I made an 80, which was pretty good,
Mhm.
to me anyway.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And so I definitely can relate to the whole English part. Like I love to read, I love
Yeah.
to write, but then if for some reason, like the actual subject, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
Sucks.
like too restricting or what. I was gonna go to college for English, and then I looked at the courses I would have to take, and I was like, No, I'll just switch to communications.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so, also you mentioned singing. So, if she looks familiar to you all, she was part of a very famous duo that was headquartered. Well, they were centered here, but they definitely
Mhm.
made their name and faces known, around the country. So, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, me and my brother Jalen started auditioning around the ages of 10 and 12. And we got into a Road to Apollo sort of thing. It was like a show, but it was sort of like an audition to audition.
Right.
So we did that, and we made it through. We won that one competition, and we got on a bus to go to New York a few weeks later. And when we auditioned in New York, we were actually one of the people that got accepted right on the spot. Um, and they talked to our mom, and they were like, yeah, we want them to come back. Like before we even left, they told us, well, we didn't even finish our audition. They stopped us in the middle of it, and then they were like, yeah, y'all can come back. So we left New York, excited, and we the date was set maybe a few days later or a few weeks, and we drove up to New York, and it was the Apollo Amateur Night. So we performed, we got second place, second out of third. Everybody says it's good, but I'm like, okay, only 3 people though. But and then they invited us back again. They said we could come back if we wanted to. So we went the next date, and we sang again, got second place. And now we're just sort of dipping around in the music part. We're not really as serious as we were at 10 and 11, just because of like everything that's going on. We have a heavy schedule, for homeschoolers. We got a lot of stuff outside of school to do. So of course, we're still involved in that part of the arts, but it's also other things that we can try out. So
Right, awesome. And so I had to borrow some of your star power. Remember for my virtual festival, I did a festival
mhm.
back in 2020, and I wanted just the right tone, how to really set it off. And so
Yeah.
I reached out to your mom. I said, "Do you think they'll sing a song?" And, and so you all did it, and I was so happy, and it brought people to tears, and I was so, yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you again for that. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so earlier you mentioned that you love to read. So what type of books do you gravitate towards, and what's your favorite book and why?
Yes, well, definitely. I really like books about magic, and I also really like books like fantasy or kind of thriller mixed with all of that. It's never just one specific genre. It's always just a mixture of a bunch of them. And I feel like I can't choose a favorite book because all of them are so different, and you can't compare different things because
Right.
it's not possible, I guess you can say. You can't compare white to black because they're totally different colors.
Right.
So it's
Gotcha.
just like, yeah, you just mix them all up, and I love them all. Every book makes you feel different. Every book gives you a different type of emotion. Make either one makes you feel happy or sad. And you always, physical books. A lot of the people I hear now are doing the audiobooks and the
Mhm.
reading them on their phone. And I just like, having one of those days where it's nothing to do, like a Saturday, and I wake up and it's like I'm up doing nothing till 1 o'clock. And I just think of like a part in a book. So, and I can pick it out of my shelf and just reread it.
Yeah.
But I never read the whole book. I just read that one part that's like, oh, it's so good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I got a few books like that too.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. But and I guess you kind of answered it too. I would say, like, how has reading prepared you for where you are today, or at least that next step you're taking?
Yeah, definitely. When I was younger, I hated reading. And I got to a point in school where I had to read. We did class books. We did Romeo and Juliet in the seventh grade, um, which you're supposed to cover that in like ninth or 10th grade, but we went ahead and did it in the seventh. And then Lord of the Flies was like a book written probably during one of the world wars.
Mhm.
And that one was terrible, but I learned a few words in there, like specs are called like their glasses. We call them glasses now, but back then they called them specs, which
Right.
is weird to me. And reading just set out a foundation for me to like learn all these different words, because that's how you learn words, you read. And also learning how to read between the lines, figure out what, because like a sentence could be in between a paragraph and you don't know what it means. But if you read the whole paragraph together,
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Context
get it.
clues. Yeah, context clues. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you call it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But you also mentioned too that you're into science. So I know you're into robotics.
Yeah.
And so tell me about your passion for robotics and where that's taking you as well.
Yeah, so robotics, we started that this year actually. We were supposed to start it last year, but COVID hit and we couldn't, group up in a big building together. So we started this year and we actually have some really good mentors this year. Actually, our mentor didn't know anything about robotics until this year, but he's a mechanic. So, they can figure anything out. And I just think that solving problems like with a robot, you can never figure out what's wrong with the robot until you fully search it. You have to, you have to wiggle every cord. You got to tighten every screw, every bolt. And then coding is also like something that we have to work on. Coding is something that we have to learn in order to get the robot to move in certain places and get the robot to move in a certain way. And I think that is very important for people to know things like this, because even if you make all A's in school, you could leave college and not know anything. So you have to have the basic skills of knowing how to build something or knowing how to, put stuff together, know how to cook. I mean, but if you make all A's and you don't know how to survive, I just think it's not, really important. But also basic skills like robotics is very important for kids to learn early on and not later when they need a job. So yeah, that's what I'm learning now.
Right, that is so awesome. And someone just commented and said, awesome, I have a STEM girl. This is great. So I don't know if you can see the comments that are coming in. So they're definitely showing you a lot of love today. If you're just tuning in, I'm talking with Jada Mills. She has a business coming in Warrenton, North Carolina, and we're super excited about it, but we're getting to know her first before we find out about the business. So to go back a little bit, you come from a large family.
Yes.
So what does family mean to you?
Well, I've grown up with it since, I was born. So it's kind of, you learn to warm up to stuff. And then once you warm up to it, it's just like, it's there all the time. And I feel like sometimes you have to stop and realize that this is not permanent. So I try to, take care of my family, make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to, and that I'm doing what I need to help everybody out. And I just think that family is very important because it holds, memories. It gives you memories. You grow up with knowing that this sibling did that for you. My mom loves me, my dad loves me. So it's just family is a part of the growth process for when you are older and you got to live by yourself or with roommates, and you look back and remember, like, I still have somebody that loves me that I can call whenever I need to. So.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And then also, just I want to take a moment to give a shout out to your mom,
Yeah.
Miss Angel, just to talk about her for a second. I hope you don't mind. But yeah, but just knowing, I haven't known her for a long time, but just seeing the relationship between you and your siblings, between your mom and everyone. The one thing that they could say about all of you is that you're respectful, well mannered. Anytime you see me, you're like, hi, Miss Crystal. Sometimes y'all see me before I see you.
I know.
Just always so cordial, polite, highly intelligent. That's, obvious. So just a kudos to your mom, and she could teach a class if she's wants to do that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. But But yeah, so anyone else in your family, are they interested in taking any entrepreneurial pursuits, such as
Of course,
yourself?
everybody in my family wants their own business. I think everybody in the world wants their own business, or at least most. So of course, every hobby, everything that they love to do, they're gonna make it into a business or something that can give them cash flow while they do what they want. And like my little sister, she does dance. She's taking dance classes right now, but then they'll extend that out to schools, and then she can extend that out into whatever she wants. Then she can teach classes, and then my brother Jalen, of course, has almost all the same talents that I do. He can sew just as much as I can. He can sing. We were actually the duo, and then I think his thing right now is he's working on making dresses, and he just needs to learn the basics so that he can grow in doing that. And then he can share that with other people and turn that into something that can give him cash flow at the same time that he's making himself happy. So,
Okay.
yeah,
And
everybody has their own thing.
right. Okay. And then yeah, we're still getting a lot of love coming in. And someone also brought up and said, and they're also all gorgeous. It's like she went through and picked all her best assets before she had them. So yeah, but also I wanted to bring up just like your inspiration. I have an idea, but what like who inspires you?
Well, when I was growing up, I think Beyonce, of course, like that's the that everybody will answer that. But when I was growing up, it was a lot of Beyonce and a lot of just celebrities that I love their voice and the way that they carry themselves.
Mhm.
And then also when I think about my future self, that's who I want to be. I want to be the person that has everything together. That that just everybody thinks that I present myself nicely in a way that says that she knows what she's doing. So I look up to my future self. I look up to my mom, of course. She always has the answer to something, to anything really. So I just think about what I want to be in the future and how I want other people to see my future self. And that's kind of my inspiration and what I'm working up to right now.
Okay, it's beautiful. I love it, and the love is still coming in. Um, what would you say is the greatest life lesson your mom has already instilled in you?
Hmm. Um, Knowledge is power. I think that one is a good one. And also silence is also very powerful in
Sure.
situations where it's very loud. Um, it's best for you to be the one that's quiet. So I guess that can speak for itself in many situations. So you can take that wherever you want to. Any situation that you think is best to not involve yourself, I think that's where you can put that advice in. And also just knowing the answers, but not spewing them out like everything, but just,
Mhm.
write it on paper, keep it on paper, make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. And hopefully, keeping somebody else on track is also a good thing at times.
That's perfect. I love it. So let's go ahead. Let's start talking about the business. So tell
Okay.
us what's going on, what you have launching soon.
All right. So I can start with how this started in the first place.
Okay.
There was an embroidery class for Quilt Lizzie that I went to in Wake Forest, and I loved it. Like I didn't know machines could do that the way that they did. I was just watching the machine just sew pictures into paper, into cards, into all kinds of stuff. And one even had a laser. I was amazed. But I left that class. I came back with just little goodies with embroidered stuff on it. And one Christmas, well, it was actually after Christmas that my mom got me an embroidery machine. And I used it, and I just love it. Like pictures on clothes. What? And then we had the Littleton Academy camp, and there was a part in the camp where the students had to create their own business. And I was like, well, what can I do? Like, I was just thinking, because it was really nothing that I wanted to make a business out of until I had to think about it.
Okay.
And then that's when I created a company called Embroidery on a little science project board.
Okay.
We wrote it out on markers, and I wrote down like what the prices would be, what the costs would be for the company. And then it just went from there. And we started talking about like maybe this could be an actual business. So I named it Embroidery, capital I, capital M, embroidery. So it's not, I guess when you first look at it, you would think embroidery, but embroidery spelled with an E. So
Yeah.
I had to sort of separate it a little. And embroidery is basically saying that, embroidery is mine. Like, you can personalize it. You can make it what you want it to be. You can do any color that you want. And it can be whatever. It can be whatever you want. It's yours. So then we started, actually after that, after the embroidery class, I turned 14 and I started working at the quilting shop. And that just inspired a whole nother side of like what I can do with my business. Cause then I thought, well, maybe I can make quilts to like to decorate a building or something. So actually this one behind me is the one I made for my mom's birthday.
Oh, nice. Can you bring it closer?
Hmm?
Can you bring it closer so we can see it?
I can.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can, it's coffee.
Oh, okay. Oh, girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that is
coffee, and then
nice.
it's the backside.
Right. So how long did it take you to make that?
It actually took me longer because this was my first quilt ever. So,
Oh,
the directions are very confusing. If I showed them to you, you would think it was a different language. And actually, it took me about probably 3 weeks to do it. And plus I worked part-time at the job, so I didn't work on it every day.
right.
So that just added more. So about 3 weeks. But once I made it, I carried it around with me and showed almost everybody in Warrenton. I was like, hey, this is my mom's birthday quilt. Look at it. And she didn't know for the 3 weeks that I was carrying it. She never knew I had it. She never knew I was even making a quilt. And then
Oh,
on her birthday, I had it in the bottom of a bag, and I took it out, and she saw it, and she was like, "What? When did you have time to make this?" And I was like,
right.
"Mom, I work at a quilting store." So,
Right.
yeah,
That is beautiful.
and I put embroidery on it because
Okay.
embroidery. It had to have a little piece of embroidery.
Oh, of course.
I
Of
don't know if
course. That is so nice. Oh, and it says mom. I see it.
yeah.
Oh, that is so nice, Jada. That looks so good. Yeah. Oh, it says congratulations. Keep up the good work. See, I
Thank
tell you, all the
you.
love is coming in, girl. Yeah. So let me tell you. Well, let me ask you this. So, as a young entrepreneur, what was that process? So, like for setting up like the business part, the formation, everything.
So the process of that, of course, we got to balance first. We have to figure out a proper schedule, budget. Of course, budget is always a good part in building a business because before you
Absolutely.
even make money, you have to spend it. So
Yes.
you have to spend it. You have to invest in the proper things. You have to make sure it's quality because you want to give your customers good quality things. But
Right.
the schedule, of course, you got to balance it with school, robotics, and then I have a part-time job. I only work once a week, which is great for me, but because I don't have to pay bills yet. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
so
coming.
I'm just learning how to manage money before I have to spend it.
That's good.
And then yep, so it's the schedule, then budget, then you got to spend it. You got to figure out what you want to invest in, who you want to partner with. And and then just stock up the building. And then I'm doing all of this kind of by myself, not really by myself, but because of course my mom is my main funder. And then I have to, she provides what I need, and then I have to work with it. And then it also helps. I have many good mentors right now. Mentors is a good part. You have to have somebody that is willing to help you, that has already experienced all of this. So Susan Harris, my mentor, she owns Quilt Lizzie. She was the first person that introduced me to sewing. And then I have a new mentor, Kathy Wiggins. She actually donated me a long arm, which is a huge machine that you can quilt quilts on. Mm-hmm. And then just a bunch of other stuff like thread and fabric and all of this good stuff. So yeah, I just have mentors that want to help me, that want to push me further into the world of entrepreneurship, that they've already, made their mark on what they want to do. So they want to pass it on. And I'm definitely willing to take it and share it with my generation. So
no, that is so awesome. Yeah, and I definitely knew about Kathy Wiggins. For those who know, she's a leather artisan who is doing amazing work that showcase like all around the world. Yeah. And so she has been bragging about you on social media. She's like, she is so excited about every move you make. And I mean, we are too. But do you have an opening date yet for this business?
Well, I can give y'all a few hints. Okay. I have a few things going on with like photo shoots and things like that. So I want to get everything out the way so that after that I can just focus on the customers. So it'll be around Memorial Day.
Okay.
I'll say that. Okay. It'll be close to Memorial Day. That way everybody's vacationing and everybody's, going to the lake and all of that. So it'll just be that one day where everybody can explore and just sit and look. So.
Okay. Now, will you have actual items there too that's already made, or is everything just going to be custom?
Yeah, everything in there will be made by me. It won't be any store-bought things in there unless like things that you might need to apply to anything that I have. But definitely it'll be some things.
Okay. So you can't tell us yet?
I'm not going to.
Okay. I feel you. I have no problem with that. Can you reveal the location yet?
Yes, the location is 134 South Main Street. So in Warrenton, North Carolina.
Right. Okay. So, although it's not open yet, y'all, you gotta wait a little while. It's right there on, like I said, it's right here on South Main Street, by Trinity, Source, and Drip, and all that. So it's right here in this nice little block.
Next to you.
Right next to me. Yeah. Right next to me.
Yeah, exactly. Right next to you.
Yeah, exactly. Right next to my office, right here. So we talked about like future plans. Like, are you looking at college too, or because I got a feeling your mom is not gonna let you slide. But
well, hopefully I'll be the responsible child and do what I'm supposed to. I'll be the one that get all the way through. But right now I'm actually looking at private schools for high school so that I can better prepare myself for college. Okay. That way it'll be like it'll be smoother when I get to college, so that I'll be used to the way that the scheduling and the staying in the dorms and all of that. So that's what I really want to do. I want to have a high school that actually prepares you for college. Because a lot of people I know that go to like public schools, charter schools, they go to school and then they get to college and they're like, college is nothing like school. So I think a lot of schools should, get more into the college circulation so that when students, when they leave school and go to college, it'll be smoother and they won't go crazy. So.
Right. So do you have any places in mind that you want to attend? Or
The number one place that I'm looking at right now is St. Mary's. It's an all-girls private school in
okay.
Raleigh.
Mhm.
And I'm really trying to get in. I have to take a test actually in a little while, and I'm preparing for that right now.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's a beautiful school, and I'm just really looking forward to getting in.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Right. I mean, I think that we all can see that there's not gonna be any type of issue of
Yeah.
you getting in. So, but we're definitely gonna be praying and sending good vibes and everything in your direction. So hopefully you get in. So do you have any advice for other entrepreneurs, young and old? Because I can definitely say that you're taking a step that older people are afraid to do. So here you are, 14, doing it. So what advice do you have?
Definitely don't start a business that you don't want to finish. Um, if you want to do something like start a business, you have to do it involving with something that you want to do for a long time. And hopefully when it grows to the point that you want it, maybe you can sell it, maybe you can pass it on to somebody else, but just don't do something that you're going to hate,
Right.
because it hurts yourself, it hurts other people, it hurts people that you might work with. Also, some other advice: just you got to plan everything out before you make the first move, because it can mess up while you're going with the flow. So I think just planning everything out and making sure that you have the right resources. I think that's the number one. You have to make a plan and a good schedule, because right now my schedule is full. So
So, so I greatly appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to do this. I greatly
well,
appreciate
today
it.
is a good day. Today's a
Oh,
good day.
okay.
It's warm outside. It's pretty. I'm at home, so
Okay. All
pick
right.
the good one.
Right. And so, and I'm sure others can agree as well. I would love to see you do more like speaking engagements. I know you did one last year, and I also want to say thank you again for doing that. Just to let you all know, Jada was the keynote speaker at a youth entrepreneurship conference last year, and she did a phenomenal job.
Thank
And
you.
she did a Q&A. It was, I
That was
mean,
the most fun part. That was the
yeah.
fun part for me.
hmm Yeah, and I greatly appreciate you did a wonderful job. I mean, like I said, this was the youth were there, adults were there. We were asking questions. It was just phenomenal. She did a fantastic job. I think it's still on my page if you want to go back I think it's still on my page if you want to go back and look at it. But is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I mean, I would love to talk more if you can think up any questions.
Okay, well, how about this? If anyone has a question, post it in the comment section. How about that? So, and then you talked about your mentors. Let's see, I'm trying to think of someone else. Oh, as far as like quilting,
Mhm.
um, do you have a favorite quilt block?
Quilt block,
Mm-hmm.
as in like pattern.
Yes.
Well, my mom's quilt, I love it so much. This is a very sentimental quilt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just feel like that's the best one for me so far. I
Okay.
mean, it just sits. I mean, it doesn't sit in the living room. We're always in the living room, so everybody's using it. But this is my favorite right now.
Okay.
Hopefully, it'll stay my favorite. But family quilts always last generations.
Right.
In families like this one, there's always one item that the whole family just has to have all the time. And I feel like this is one of them. And maybe I'll work on some more unique projects. This one I wouldn't say is very unique, but it's definitely it's something that was made by me to my mom. So I
And
think
that's what makes it
it's
unique.
unique to me, to us.
Mhm. Right. That's what makes it unique. That was something that you made from the heart to give to your mom, and she had no idea about it. So that's what makes
She
it
had no idea. I was shocked that she never found out, because I told so many, no, not just told, I showed so many people.
unique.
Um, there were the people that lived upstairs in our building. I showed them, brought it to them. There was like, just anybody that came in the building. I had to show it to them. It was so hilarious to me that she never knew.
No clue. That's the
Never
best.
knew. I was carrying it for weeks. And then like every day at work, I would work on it. And actually the staff in my building they pitched in a lot. Of course I get an employee discount.
That always helps.
The store manager long-armed it for me. And actually that service was for free. So that was like her birthday gift to my mom.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just really great. So this gift is not only from me, it's from people that work at the store too. So
Okay. Well, you have some questions coming in.
all right.
Do you think you would ever start another business, like own and operate several businesses? Would that be a goal of yours?
That is a good question. And I think that all businesses should start to grow, as in like, Amazon, they have different sellers, different tenders. They sell from other sellers, which is, you get what I mean? So obviously you want to get to the point where you can buy other businesses and add that on to yours. So if I'm Rotary wanted to buy a quilting business, then add that on, then we can actually, push out quilts like quilting businesses would. Then of course that would be one. Maybe if I wanted to branch it off into a separate clothing line and just make it like one of those lines with just specifically one name on it. That's always a goal in a business, to build and to branch off. So hopefully if I get to that position, that'll be one of the things that I can do in the coming days.
Okay. Oh, in the coming days. Okay. All right. All right. Another question come in. How long does it take for you to finish a quilting project?
Well, that depends on the schedule. And I think if you had 2 or 3 days to just sit, I feel like you could finish it in a week. Or I could, some people might be faster. I think I could finish a quilt in a week, maybe 4 days, but there's never a moment where I'm sitting for more than 3 days. So that's just a timing matter that you would have to work out. And that quilt, like I said, took weeks because that was my first one. So there was like, you have to, and then the cutting, like cutting out the pieces, that's a separate part, which also that takes at least a whole day just to cut the pieces and measure. You have to measure. The measurements have to be spot on because there's a 1/4 inch seam. It's about that big. So you want to make sure that you have the right measurements. And of course, like you can make it unique, you can make it different, and it could be all over the place. It could be a wild quilt. I just prefer right now in the moment what my style is. I'm just working on the measurements and the blocks, and then hopefully I'll be able to branch off into my own unique style of quilting pretty soon. So
okay. All right. So another question came in. Will you make duplicates of that quilt so that your siblings don't have to fight for it when they have to leave the nest?
They will not fight for it. That is my mom's birthday quilt. Of course, they probably wouldn't want a coffee quilt anyway. But definitely if they wanted a quilt, they would definitely ask for it, which they have. You just got to find the right moment to give it to them. I know that making that quilt was definitely the right moment to give it to my mom. She loves coffee. And the day that I gave it to her, her outfit actually matched the quilt, which was yeah, totally not on purpose. But yeah, my siblings, I'll be able to make them quilt one day, but there's this time where I have to make a quilt just to hang up in a store and display it and hopefully sell them whenever somebody might want them. So
okay. And I need to go back a little bit. I don't know if we asked you that question or not, but what attracted you to the arts?
Well, I feel like I was always an artsy person. me and my brother, he was about, we're born 2 years apart, but everybody thought we were twins. But when we were in church, we would sing in the choir. I was about 3. He was about, whatever age, probably 5. And we would sing in the choir all the time, just a duet and the choir behind us. And we would just sing. And then, what was the question again? I got distracted.
Okay. Just keep going. But
Okay.
no, what attracted you to the arts in the first place?
Oh, okay, great. So that was just how it started, and then we auditioned for everything, and then there was this one moment where my brother, he would make dresses for us, and we would play dress up all the time, and we would just do we would play supermodels, and we would do on the runway in the living room, and all he did was like cut a neck out and some sleeves and tie it around the waist, and it would just flow at the bottom.
Okay.
And it was just like these little the blocks of fabric from Walmart and things like that. Sometimes even a blanket or a curtain. But it turned into that, and then it turned into dance dresses. And I guess that inspiration came from Dancing with the Stars, and that's when we would dance in the living room. And then my mom booked a sewing class for him, and then it turned out that he was too old for it, so I went instead. And then I was going to come out of the class and teach him how to sew. And then, so now we both know how to sew. And now I'm just like doing stuff like the quilts and sometimes I even, touch up my clothes a little bit because, clothes never fit the same way. So,
right.
Yeah. So it's always like something I want to alter in a shirt or pants. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Will there ever be a time where the student becomes the teacher and you start offering classes?
Actually, there is a time that hopefully will be coming up pretty soon. I want to be a student volunteer at the new school, Littleton Academy.
Okay.
That my mom is the associate headmaster at. I want to offer. Well, I actually want to learn how to crochet too. So that would be something else that I could do once I learn how to do it. I can teach somebody else how to do it. But I wanted to offer sewing classes and embroidery classes at the school as a volunteer, and just have kids. Oh no, the battery. And have kids, make stuff and hopefully sell it, or just bring it to their parents and show them how proud they are of what they've done. So that's what I want to do in teaching other people how to do what I love to do. And hopefully somebody else will feel the same way about that as I do.
Right. And that's absolutely amazing. You taking, something that you learned and passing it on, because that's how we learn. That's how we keep quilting alive. I hang out with I don't say I'm a quilter, but I hang out with the heritage quilters. And so, just learning, and they're wanting to pass it on to the next generation. So I heard you say that your battery is getting ready to die. So I'm going to wrap this up.
No, it's plugged.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, just to make sure. Okay. Did anyone else have any questions in the comments? I think I covered them all. Give it a couple seconds. Okay. Oh, someone says, keep pushing. Awesome. All right. But I want to thank you again so much for joining me today. Jada, I know you're super busy, girl. But I'm so proud of you. I can't wait till the place is open, because like I said, it is right next door to me. And so everyone else, thank you so much for tuning in. To keep up with the Warrenist and all the wonderful things that are going on here, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, just about everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere, like literally everywhere. All right. So thank you so much for joining us, and everyone have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you. See y'all. Bye.